Okay, now that you have your vocabulary on here and cut out, glued in, we're going to define your vocabulary words. So go ahead, go right along with me as I define mine. You write in your notebook also. And if you didn't print these out and you just want to write them like regular vocabulary words, that's perfectly fine too. But this will just be a little extra help for you when you start studying them. Okay, so you're going to take your force flap, go ahead and flip it open, and you're going to write the definition right underneath here. So the definition for force is a push or pull on an object. So push or pull on the object. And at any time while we're doing these, like if you're like, oh, I need to pause this to write down what the definition is because I write a little bit slower, that's perfectly fine too. Just hit pause. That's the wonderful thing about having a video is that you can literally pause me and get caught up anytime you want. I just hope you don't fast forward me because I don't want you guys to miss out on any information. All right, so here's your first word. Once you have that written down, you can go ahead and close that flap, and it's okay if it sticks out a little bit like that. All right, your next one is balanced force. So balanced force. So force that are forces, make sure you have the S there, that are equal, causing, put a comma, and then causing an object to stay the same. So forces that are equal. Good thing I reread. So that's why it's so important to reread what you write because a lot of times I thought I put are there, but that wasn't are, that was a. So forces that are equal causing an object to stay the same. All right, go ahead and close that flap once you have it written down. Unbalanced forces. Does anybody know what un means? So whenever you see un at the beginning of a word, like undo or I can't think of an un one now that I'm having a brain freeze. I'm sure you guys are thinking of words that start with un. Un means not. So what do you think that this word means? Unbalanced. Right, it's not balanced. So it's going to be the opposite of this one. So let's go ahead and open that up. Unbalanced. So forces that are not equal, causing an object to move. Okay, so unbalanced forces are forces that are causing an object to move. Forces that are causing an object to move. So if it's unbalanced, and we're going to be learning about that this week. All right, go ahead and close that one up. The next one that you have is net force. So net force. Okay, net force, flip that one open. If I can get it under, there we go. So net force is the sum of forces acting on an object. And we'll talk about net forces when we do balanced and unbalanced forces later on this week. Okay, go ahead and close that one up. The next one is newtons. And we'll also talk about this when we do balanced and unbalanced force, and we'll talk about it next week too. So newtons is the units of measurement for force. It's just like when you're saying that something is how many feet long or how many inches long. That's the unit of measurement for length. So newtons is the unit of measurement for force. Okay, go ahead and close that one up. Okay, your next one is mass. So go ahead and flip that open. Okay, mass is the amount of matter in an object. Okay, a lot of you guys might be like, well, that's about the same as weight. It's different than weight. Weight is the amount of gravity is pulling down on you because of your matter. So your matter, and I mean your mass. Sorry, I'm looking at the word matter, saying matter. Your mass never changes. Even when you're in outer space, you still have the same amount of mass. But when you're on Earth, because the gravity is pulling down on your mass, and it pulls down on you more the more mass you have. So that's where your weight comes in. Okay, so the next one is gravity. So go ahead and flip that one open. Okay, so gravity is the force that pulls objects toward the earth or each other. Okay, then go ahead and close that one up. Your last one is friction. Go ahead and open that one up. Friction is the resistance that one surface or object encounters when moving over another. So the resistance that one surface or object encounters when moving over another. What does encounters mean? Encounters means like it's coming in contact with. So if I encountered somebody at Walmart, that means I came in contact with them. So encounters just means it comes in contact with. All right, so this is what your notebook looks like when you're all done. Okay, so if you flipped up all of these flaps all at one time, it would look like that. So if you're not doing the flaps, you would have just the words written. So you'd have force and a dash, push or pull on an object. Balanced forces, dashed, forces that are equal, causing an object to stay the same. So your notebook would look like this without these flaps, except you'd have the words written down. Okay, go ahead and close that up. So this is your vocabulary for this week. You're going to have a quiz on it on Friday. So make sure you're studying these words. Now you can study them two different ways, unless you figure out a different way, but these are two different ways that I'm giving you. So you can use your notebook and you can go, okay, force, what does a force mean? Um, Push or pull on an object, and then you can check yourself, okay? Or you can flip them all this way. I guess there's three ways then. You can flip them all this way and say, okay, push or pull an object. What does that mean? Oh, that's a force. And then you can check yourself. Yep, I'm right. Let's skip down here. Units of measurement for force. Newtons. Yeah. So you can do it that way too. And also, I gave you guys a link that's with this assignment called Quizlet. If you sign up for it, it's like electronic flashcard thing that you can do. And there's an app for it for an iPad if you're working on an iPad. And you guys can play games against each other. So if you know anybody that's in our class, you can call them and be like, hey, get on Quizlet. And you can actually race each other to see who can match their words the quickest. So, because you normally do that in class, and then the whole class is playing to see who can beat their scores. Because you can have more than one signed in at the same time. So, if you would like to do that, it's there. I would highly suggest signing in to Quizlet because it will help you a lot. Because we'll be using that all year for math and for science. All right, so I hope you guys are doing good today. And make sure you get this written down and then sign into Quizlet and you can test it out and see what it has on it. And that's all your assignment is for science today. All right, see you guys tomorrow.